Okay, so before I hit record, I was doing a little meditating, and what was coming up for me in my meditation was the idea that physically having control of something, whether it be yourself, other people, a situation, whatever it may be, is just an illusion. We don't have any physical control or mental control over anything. Of course, we have free will, but from the lower perspective, in our limited minds, we can't really control anything. And when we try to, then we're just in resistance to what is. And as you guys know, what you resist persists. So if you're trying to control anything out of fear, which is why people feel the need to control in the first place, you're going to keep finding that thing that you fear, that you feel like you need to control, pop up again and again and again in different ways and different forms. Hey guys, it's Julia. Welcome to my channel if you're new here, or welcome back if you're not. So this video is really fitting because I have a severe phobia of bugs, and that parlays into my OCD. And OCD is like kind of the mental illness of trying to gain control over your environment. It could also be your thoughts, emotions, whatever. It's different for everyone. For me, it's more of an environmental, avoiding certain emotions type of thing. And I say all that because there is literally a bug, in my opinion, scary looking bug, on my little cubbies over there, and I'm just staring at it and I am feeling out of control because this little bug that I am afraid of is on my stuff, which I know sounds really silly because I am so much bigger than this little bug, but I don't want this little bug in my stuff and it's triggering me. I'm gonna go check out this little bug. Okay, so there was an example of me trying to control a situation. I decided I wasn't going to physically maneuver or manipulate anything involving this bug. Instead, what I did was I went over to him and I asked him if he could kindly get off of my stuff and go back to his home with his family of bugs. And now I am trusting that he will do so. And I am letting go of the control around the situation. The way I would physically control it would be to remove the bug and put him outside. That's fine, and I could do that, and that would be very harmless as opposed to squishing him and being like, bad bug, squish, you're dead. No, that would probably be negative. Positive for me, but negative for the bug. So in actuality, that would be a negative response because you can't hurt other beings without hurting the whole that we are all connected to. So in turn, you're hurting yourself. So I didn't want to do that. It might be fine if I removed him and put him outside, but then again, there will always be another bug. If I can't just move on and get to my work and allow the bug to be there, you know, I can ask the bug if it could do what I want it to do. And if it listens, great. If it doesn't, also great. I see him right now. He seems to be getting off of the stuff that I didn't want him on. But again, I don't want a bug in my stuff, but at the same time, we don't get what we want. We get what we are. So if I am trusting and not trying to control, then I will receive the reciprocal of that, which would be a trustworthy situation where we are both trusting, me and the bug are trusting in the positive. So I'm sure that bug wants to go home to its family as well. Anyway, you guys get the point. That is my bug example. But this example parlays into life in so many different levels and capacities. And what is the saying? The way you do anything is the way you do everything. Well, it's true. So if I release the need to try to control and micromanage every little thing in my life and trust in that I will be led to where I need to be, when I need to be there, and meet who I need to meet when I need to meet them, and do what I need to do when I need to do it, then I don't need to try to control and maneuver and place every little puzzle piece in the right spot, because the universe, source, God, whatever you want to call it, my higher self, is doing that for me, with me. So all I have to do is drop into my body, drop into my being. The bug is making his way down. This is literally like a meditation, I swear. It's like, Julia, are you gonna keep looking at the bug? Because if you keep looking at the bug, you're not trusting the bug. But I'm letting him do his thing. I'm not looking. This is me trying not to control. The irony out of this is like me looking at the bug is me thinking, oh, I gained some sort of control out of looking where he's going. And it's funny because I've literally done this pattern in relationships, in checking my social media to see how the numbers are doing. Like, this might just be an OCD thing, but I feel like a lot of people do this regardless. Is like you feel like you're gaining some sense of control in checking whatever it is you're afraid of happening or that you want to happen. We think that if we check the thing that it's going to help us feel better, but it just reinforces the fear and the need to continue checking, which makes it very compulsive, and it increases the need feeling of you you wanting to control whatever is going on physically because you think that it will lead to either what you want or avoiding what you don't want. But it doesn't either. So constantly checking doesn't make anything better. In fact, it just makes things worse because whatever happened is going to happen anyway, and you checking is just you focusing on the worry and the fear states. So for example, let's say you check your partner's phone to see if they're cheating on you, and you do it repeatedly again and again, and you never find anything, but you not being able to trust in their commitment to the relationship is only going to create a divide between you two, and a lot more involved in that as well. Or on the flip side, if you do check again and again and then you eventually find something, then it's just going to reinforce the, oh, I need to control things because if I didn't look, then I wouldn't have found this. You probably would have found out eventually anyway, and when you did, you would have avoided all of the stress leading up to you eventually finding out because you wouldn't have known until you knew. So you didn't need to be in that stress state for as long as you were, because you would have just found out and then you would have had to handle it and maybe been in a stress state for a little around then, but it wouldn't have been the same. And also it can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. I mean, if you are constantly looking for something, you will eventually find it, whatever it may be. Like me looking around my room checking for bugs. If I look hard enough, I will eventually find a bug. Even if I don't want to find a bug, I will find a bug. So if you're constantly looking to catch somebody doing something negative towards you, you're gonna find it eventually, or you're going to create it, and there's a good chance that's probably you creating it. So what I mean when I say thinking that we have control over anything and everything is just an illusion means that thinking that we can physically do things to avoid what we fear is the illusion of control. We think that by controlling a scenario or trying to will keep us from avoiding the fear or pain or suffering that we are afraid of, when in actuality that is completely backwards and the opposite of what it's doing. So we know that whatever we resist persists. If we're trying to resist a certain feeling by controlling a situation, we're only prolonging that feeling. What it's actually doing is just putting us into a suffering state while trying to avoid a feeling that we perceive is going to be worse than the suffering state that we're in now. But in actuality, if we just allowed ourselves to feel whatever that is and worked through it, we would feel a lot less suffering. We would be in a lot less discomfort if we just surrendered to the fear and actually allowed ourselves to work through it. But I know it's a lot easier said than done because there are many fears that I personally am still avoiding to this day, but I know if I just worked through them, they'd be gone, or I would be able to integrate them in, and I wouldn't be in these like suffering worry states like I was when I was checking on the bug, being afraid that it was going to get into my stuff. The act of surrendering to the fear state or whatever the pain is that we're trying to avoid doesn't mean that we want that thing to happen or that we are looking for that thing to happen and we'll be happy that it happens. It just means we're not resisting it anymore and we're allowing ourselves to go through it to come out the other side. So a personal example of this from my life was I was resisting ending a relationship. I really didn't want it to end. I didn't want to be alone. I was scared of what was next, what that meant. I was scared of not being with this person anymore, even though I knew that the relationship was negative for me and for that person. But I felt safer in holding on to it because I knew what to expect. Even though I consciously knew if I let go of those expectations, I would be able to receive even better, even more, and it would lead me to a better life. That still didn't make it easier for me to let go of it because I still had so many fears and doubts. Like, what if I actually can't do better? What if things in my life don't change for the better, or I don't make things change for the better, whatever it is? Or what if I miss that person? Which they're all valid fears, and of course I missed that person. Of course I felt all those things, but I had to get to a place deep down inside where I knew that choosing to let go of this was better than trying to force it and control it and hang on to it. And it took me years. It wasn't a simple thing, but what it taught me was I can let go of things that are not serving me anymore and still love and care about them. I can let go of different parts of me and still be me because I am not my personality. Those those parts of me make up my ego and make up my avatar being in this world, but they're not who I am at my core. So by letting them go, it is sort of a death process. But when I go through a death process, then afterwards I get to go through a rebirth process, which can lead me to an even higher version of myself that I want to be even more than this lower version that's holding on to whatever it's holding on to. So after learning that, by going through that painful detachment period, it allowed me to feel a sense of knowing within that I can let go of things that I'm afraid to let go of and still be okay. It's helped me get to a place where I'm starting to feel more ready to face the OCD that I want to heal within me, more ready to let go of these phobias that have plagued me for over a decade, even longer than that, almost my whole life. So the process of allowing yourself to let go of the illusion of control actually starts to bring you closer to receiving what it is that you want, that maybe you were trying to receive through controlling, or you were trying to avoid a lower pain point by controlling. So if we can't control things from a place of fear, then what can we do to achieve what we want, to get what we need, to feel our best, feel happy, feel at peace? And that is by going within. We have to go within. We need to face those inner fears. We need to clear them out. We need to go through them. We need to allow ourselves to feel them. And then as we start to move through those fears and we see that we're okay, that we're still alive, that we're still here, that our heart is still beating, even though we went through some really painful or hard things, that's when we realize that we can change our reality through our state of being and through how we present ourselves in the world through our energy. So if you're going through something negative, but you're able to look at it from a positive viewpoint and accept it for what it is, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to be happy and joyful about a negative experience. It just means you can take it and use it in a positive manner towards your life and towards others' lives. So let's say, you went through, like I was saying, a really painful breakup, and now you're able to use what you learned from that situation to affect yourself positively and affect others positively, whether it's sharing your experience so that they can relate and being a comforting energy for those people, or whether it's taking the lessons that you learned and sharing them with others so that they can take them into account and learn from your experience and not have to go through that type of suffering. Whatever it may be. Being able to see both sides, the positive and the negatives, and pick out the gifts in it and from it, and find a way to use that to propel us and others in a positive direction. It's also realizing that the circumstances in our life don't matter, and that what really matters is our state of being. And if we can get to a clearer, more mindful state of being and live from our hearts, then we can put more of that energy out into the universe. And when we put that energy out, we're gonna receive it back. We're gonna see more of it around us, and that will, in a sense, control our reality into being a more positive reality, so that when negative things do happen in the future, we already have a foundation in knowing how to deal with them from our past, of learning how to transmute and alchemize our pain. So I know this video was a little all over the place because it was totally off the cuff and this idea came to me in my meditation, but I definitely want to expand on this topic in the future. I hope this was helpful for now, and I will see you all in my next video next week. I love you. Bye!